Welcome back. We are on the New World Translation, Jehovah's Witness translation of the Bible. We're starting on Genesis 11. Now all the earth continued to be of one language and of one set of words. And it came about that in their journeying eastward they eventually discovered a valley plain in the land of Shinar. And they took up a dwelling there. And they began to say, each one to other, come on, let us make bricks and bake them with a burning process. So brick served as stone for them, but bitumen, no, bitumen served as mortar for them. They now said, come on, let us build ourselves a city and also a tower with its top into the heavens, and let us make a celebrated name for ourselves, for fear we may be scattered over all the surface of the earth. And Jehovah proceeded to go down to see the city and the tower that the sons of men had built. After that Jehovah said, look, they are one people, and there is one language for them all. And this is what they start to do. Why? Now there is nothing that they may have in mind to do that will be unattainable for them. Come, now, let us go down and there confuse their language, that they may not listen to one another's language. Accordingly Jehovah scattered them from the earth over all the surface of the earth, and they gradually left off building the city. That is why its name was called Babel, because there Jehovah had confused the language of all the earth, and Jehovah had scattered them from there over all the surface of the earth. This is the history of Shem. Shem was 100 years old. When he became father to Apachshad, 2 years after the deluge. And after his fathering of Apachshad, Shem continued to live 500 years. Meanwhile he became father to sons and daughters. And Arpachshad lived 35 years. Then he became father to Shelah. And after his fathering Shelah, Arpachshad continued to live 433 years. Meanwhile he became father to sons and daughters. And Shelah lived 30 years. Then he became father to Eber. And after his fathering Eber, Shelah continued to live 433 years. Meanwhile he became father to sons and daughters. And Eber lived on for 34 years. Then he became father to Peleg. And after his fathering, Peleg and Eber continued to live 430 years. Meanwhile he became father to sons and daughters. And Peleg lived on for 30 years. Then he became father to Reu. And after his fathering Reu, Peleg continued to live 209 years. Meanwhile he became father to sons and daughters. And Reu lived on for 32 years. Then he became father to Serug. And after his fathering of Serug, Reu continued to live 207 years. Meanwhile he became father to sons and daughters. And Serug lived on for 30 years. Then he became father to Nahor. And after his fathering Nahor, Serug continued to live 200 years. Meanwhile he became father to sons and daughters. And Nahor lived on for 29 years. Then he became father to Terah. And after his fathering Terah, Nahor continued to live 119 years. Meanwhile he became father to sons and daughters. And Terah lived on for 70 years, after which he became father to Abram and Nahor and Haran. And this is the history of Terah. Terah became father to Abram, Nahor, and Haran became father to Lot. Later Haran died while in company with Terah his father in the land of his birth, in Ur of the Chaldeans. And Abraham and Noah proceeded to take wives for themselves. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, while the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and father of Ishka. But Sarai continued to be barren. She had no child. After that Terah took Abraham his son and Lot, the son of Haran, and his grandson, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, the wife of Abram his son, and they went with him out of Ur of the Chaldeans to go to the land of Canaan. In time they came to Haran and took up dwelling there. And the days of Terah came to be 205 years. Then Terah died in Haran. Genesis 12. And Jehovah proceeded to say to Abram, Go your way out of your country, from your relatives and from the house of your father, to the country that I shall show you. And I shall make a great nation out of you, and I shall bless you, and I will make your name great, and prove yourself a blessing. And I will bless those who bless you, and him that calls down evil upon you I shall curse. And all the families of the ground will certainly bless themselves by means of you. At that Abram went just as Jehovah had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he went out from Haran. So Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot the son of his brother, and all the goods that they had accumulated, and the souls whom they had acquired in Haran. And they got on their way out to go to the land of Canaan. Finally they came to the land of Canaan. And Abram went on through the land as far as the side of Shechem, near the big trees of Moreh. And at that time the Canaanite was in the land. Jehovah now appeared to Abram and said, To your seed I am going to give this land. And after that he built an altar there to Jehovah, who had appeared to him. Later he moved from there to a mountainous region to the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. Then he built an altar there to Jehovah, and began to call on the name of Jehovah. Afterward Abram broke camp, going then from encampment to encampment toward to the Negeb. Now a famine arose in the land, and Abram made his way down toward Egypt, to reside there as an alien, because the famine was severe in the land. And it came about that as soon as he got near to the entering Egypt, then he said to Sarai his wife, Please, now, I well know you are a woman beautiful in appearance. So it is bound to happen that the Egyptians will see you and will say, This is his wife, and they will certainly kill me, but you they will preserve alive. Please say you are my sister, in order that I may go well with me on your account, and my soul will be certain to live due to you. So it happened that as soon as Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians got to see the woman, that she was very beautiful. And the princes of Pharaoh also got to see her, and they began praising her to Pharaoh, so that the woman was taken to the house of Pharaoh. Alright, I like that one. And the princes of Pharaoh also got to see her, and they began praising her to Pharaoh, so that the woman was taken to the house of Pharaoh. And he treated Abram well on her account. And he came to have sheep and cattle and asses, and manservants, and maidservants, and she-asses, and camels. Then Jehovah touched Pharaoh and his household with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. With that Pharaoh called Abram and said, What is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say, She is my sister, so that I was about to take her as my wife? And now here is your wife, take her, and go. And Pharaoh issued commands to men concerning him, and they went escorting him and his wife, and all that he had. Genesis 13. Following that Abram went out to Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him, to the Negeb. And Abram was heavily stocked with herds and silver and gold, and he made his way from encampment to encampment, out of the Negeb and to Bethel, to a place where his tent had been at first between Bethel and Ai, and to the place of the altar that he had made there originally. And Abram proceeded to call there on the name of Jehovah. Now Lot, who was going along with Abram, also owned sheep and cattle and tents. So the land did not allow for them to dwell all together, because their goods had become many, and they were not able to dwell all together. And a quarrel arose between the herders of Abraham's livestock and the herders of Lot's livestock. And at that time the Kenite and the Perizzite were dwelling in the land. Hence Abram said to Lot, Please do not let any quarreling continue between me and you, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen. For we men are brothers. Is not the whole land available to you? Please separate from me. If you go to the left, then I will go to the right. But if you go to the right, then I will go to the left. So Lot raised his eyes and saw the whole district of the Jordan, that all of it was well watered, and a region before Jehovah brought Sodom and Gomorrah to ruin, like the gardens of Jehovah, like the land of Egypt as far as Zoar. Then Lot chose for himself the whole district of Jordan, and Lot moved his camp to the east. So they separated the one from the other. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, but Lot dwelt among the cities of the district. Finally he pitched tent near Sodom. And the men of Sodom were bad, and were gross sinners against Jehovah. And Jehovah said to Abram after Lot had separated from him, Raise your eyes, please, and look from the place where you are, northward and southward, and eastward and westward, because all the land at which you are looking, to you and to your seed I am going to give it until the time indefinite. And I will constitute your seed like the dust particles of the earth, so that if a man could be able to count the dust particles of the earth, then your seed could be numbered. Get up, go about in the land through its length and through its breadth, because to you I am giving it. So Abram continued to live in tents. Later on he came and dwelt among the trees of Mamre, which are in Hebron, and there he proceeded to build an altar to Jehovah. Okay, I'll cut it off there, and then we'll start Genesis 14.